This week in the bonus round, our E3 2015 preview continues. We're here with Andy McNamara, Sophia Tong, and Ben Howard talking about Microsoft Xbox. We know Halo 5, Guardians, and Rise of the Tomb Raider will be there, but what else will Phil Spencer unveil on stage? We've got our preview right now in the bonus round. Hey, welcome back to the bonus round here on GameTrailers. I'm Jeff Keighley with Ben Howard, Sophia Tong, and Andy McNamara, and this is a great time of year because we are counting down to the big E3 convention that is going down the week of June 15th. You, of course, can watch coverage on GT, but right now we're going to talk about what we expect from Microsoft Xbox at E3 2015. So Xbox will kick things off on Monday morning. This is a big year for Xbox. They've already started teasing the theme of the best games lineup this holiday in Xbox history. And they do have a lot of stuff, you know, even announced now. They've got Forza, they've got Halo 5 Guardians, they've got Rise of the Tomb Raider, all announced, which are, you know, pretty big games. Potentially there's more. Let me start with you, Sophia. You know Xbox really well, have covered it over the years. What does Xbox have to do at E3 this year?
Well, Xbox needs to focus on the holiday right now if they plan to catch up. And, you know, with the leaks of Gears of War, I do think that they're going to talk about Black Tusk Studios' new game. Right. So I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know what kind of timeline that's going to be, but yeah, between Halo and Rise of the Tomb Raider, as you said, it's going to be a really good holiday, and they're probably going to come out like they did last year. All games, a lot of focus on that, and probably HoloLens and Minecraft woven into all that. Yeah. So let's talk about, you know, all these games that Microsoft has. Is that enough, Andy? I mean, they've got all this stuff. Like, you know, they're obviously trying to gain traction against Sony. They have all these games. What can they do at E3 to change the momentum?
Well, I'm really hoping they're going to focus on Connect.
Right.
I mean, I think that's really, I think that's the key. Wait, sorry, I screwed that up. No, I know. I like their focus on games. I think that's the good. I think that's a good message for them. You know what I mean? I think they have a history with, you know, getting great titles, you know what I mean? I think Tomb Raider is a big get for them. I think Halo still is a massive franchise. That's where people were so upset about the Master Chief Collection, right? I mean, I think these things matter. But I do think Microsoft has rushed some things, and I think they need to be a little bit more careful. I think they need to be more careful with their service. I think, you know, while both services have suffered a fair amount, I mean, I think one of the things that made Xbox 360 the success story it was Xbox Live, right? And I think getting back to that core competency of making a great Xbox Live experience and making their console really sing is important to them, and that's what they do best, right? I mean, like, they shouldn't be on even kill with Sony. They should be beating Sony as Microsoft, right? Across the board. So I'd like to see them bring that out. I like to see the new focus they have on bringing more indie titles. I like to see that kind of indie battle between Microsoft and Sony. I think we as gamers benefit from that, and it gets some good investments from them. So I'm excited about that. And I do think we will see, I mean, I do think this is a year where we are going to see a lot of things that are happening in 2016.
Yes.
Because it's all about enticing us, you know, to get through. There's games for this holiday, and a lot of them were announced at last E3, right? But you know, I think it's going to be kind of giving us a chance to look at the future, show a roadmap for where Xbox is going to go, and I think that's important if they can do that. You know, I think Phil's been a great kind of breath of fresh air for the Xbox across the board, and I think they were bringing some interesting ideas, incorporating PC, how they can use the two and cross-play, things like that. So I think they need to show, right? And, you know, there's been a lot of talk, right? And I think it's time for them to show, and I think they have to show more than Sony does. Right. They really do, because I think there is a bit of ground, or at least even like mind share, that they need to get back. But this game is not over.
Right. No, and it does feel like, you know, this is the year where they do have, you know, a lot of stuff. Last year they kept saying that we had the best exclusive lineup for the holidays, and sort of both of them weren't great for PlayStation or Xbox. This year they legitimately do have a lot of big guns firing off. Out of all those guns, Ben, what's the key game for you that you're going to be most anticipating?
Well, I mean, the one that's most important for them is Halo. Right. I mean, they've got to get Halo right. I think it's likely we'll see Forza again as well. I think first party for Microsoft right now is absolutely critical.
So Halo 5 Guardians, you know, they had the multiplayer beta that happened at the end of last year. I think, you know, the response was sort of mixed to that from a lot of players. They haven't talked much about the campaign. They've teased these sort of two sides of the story, Master Chief and Locke. Do you think, I mean, is 343, do you think they're going to deliver the sort of the Halo game that the fans really want? Because a lot of people are like, well, is it going to be moving in a different direction? It's more Call of Duty. It's not Halo anymore.
I think based on what they've shown so far, there is a level of indifference to the title. I think they need to show more. I think they need to show more of what makes Halo so special to the fan base, which is more of the campaign. What story is there going to be in there? Right now, really, we've just seen an arena shooter, and I think that. To a certain section of the audience is going to be very exciting, but to get people on board and to get the broader audience on board, and let's make no mistake, they're way behind, right? To bring that broader audience on board, they need first-party killer titles that are going to get people to consider buying an Xbox One. Because right now, they need to get comfortable with the fact that they're the other console for people, much like Sony did in the last cycle. When Sony was way behind, they dropped some killer titles which kept them in the race. And if you're going to be the other console, and I don't want to say it's doom and gloom for Xbox, but right now they are the other console. They've been beaten 2-1 consistently in terms of ownership. So for them to stay in the race, it's got to be about first party. What's the differentiation? Why pick up an Xbox One? All your friends, all your early adopter friends have already picked up a PS4. You're going to go where your friends are right now. In terms of that broader audience who's picking up a console this holiday season, first party Halo, that's what's going to make the difference.
If I'm a guy at Xbox watching this, I feel motivated now. Ben, you've driven us. Sophia, what's the title for you? Is it Halo?
For me, Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Rise of the Tomb Raider, okay.
Yeah.
And that's a game that, the reboot was, good. I spent a lot of time with the team on that, liked it. This, Andy's had it on its cover already, Rise of the Tomb Raider. We haven't really seen, of course, he nods. Big game, I got that one. But we haven't really seen much of the gameplay, but I hear it's got this great bear fight that's really cool and like lots of, visceral energy to it. Do you think we haven't seen it, but I assume E3 is going to be a big moment for that game.
Yeah, absolutely. The last one was just so great, and I think if they could just even build on that, it'd be taking Lara Croft in a great new direction because it's been a long time for me. I mean, I played the originals and I kind of eventually moved away from them, but like this reboot is just, refreshing, and I think this one's going to, kind of please all those fans, and especially brought in a new audience to kind of enjoy Lara Croft and its history.
Cool. Andy, you had Tomb Raider on your cover. You guys were obviously excited about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think, for a lot of people, when we talk about the kind of last Tomb Raider, I mean, that was game of the. We had serious arguments about game of the year for that Tomb Raider game, and there were people who personally said that was the best game of the year, and I think that was a great kind of bring back for Crystal, and I think that this time with Microsoft's help, I think they bring in some fresh ideas, and I think that it's an opportunity to really kind of expand on that storytelling, and I love the battle. I mean, Uncharted versus Tomb Raider, you know what I mean? I think that's a great battle to see what they're going to do, and I think it's an important battle actually, as far as a line, because you can very simply see, this is our exclusive game, and this is their exclusive game, both adventure games for a period of time, which no one will address how long that period of time is. But I believe the quote is somewhere like a substantial period of time, whatever that means.
Yeah, at least it sounds like at least for the holidays.
That it will be exclusive to Xbox, and I think that's an interesting thing to have happen. And Laura's an icon. I mean, Laura was on the cover of Entertainment Weekly, right? I think back in the day. I mean, that's something that has crossed over into the greater entertainment mind. So it certainly has an opportunity to be, a home run for Microsoft. So what could Microsoft do that would surprise us? As you mentioned last year, they've already announced Crackdown, Scalebound games that I assume are not this year, maybe 2016. Are there any things that you guys are expecting or hoping that they're going to talk about? You mentioned Gears of War. That's sort of been, I think, pretty heavily hinted that they'll say something about Gears at the press conference or where that franchise is going. Anything else? I mean, there's Minecraft. Who knows what they could say around that? But do you guys have anything that you would love to see Xbox do? I mean, there's been talk about Rare and all those titles and what's Rare working on.
For me, the Rare title is that there's a lot of question marks about what are Rare up to. I mean, I think it's been heavily hinted at they're working at something, something big and something that gets them back to their roots. Hopefully, not to denigrate what they've been doing with Kinect and stuff, but I think that's not really what people want to see from Rare. Right. So, I think if they can get something that harks back to those games, then there's going to be a lot of very happy Microsoft fanboys in the audience.
I want to see a good indie. Like last year, Ori and the Blind Forest was what really stood out for me.
Nice surprise.
So I would want to see like something from the indie space. And last year they also announced the guys Playdead.
Yeah, Inside, which I haven't seen a thing on that
since then. So I would love to see more, and I hope they highlight that.
Yeah, that title excited me as well last year, and I think we'll get a chance to see that this year. I think they're going to have a good indie lineup. I know they picked up the Flame and the Flood. If I always get that one backwards, you know what I mean? Which the Molasses Flood.
Guys.
I like the work that those guys are doing. We were really
announced
impressed.
that?
We were impressed by that title. But I mean, we go out and kind of see these things, and we really like what these guys are doing. I know Charla picked that up for Microsoft for Xbox ID.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think they have an opportunity to make that some interesting things, which they need to. I mean, right now, every one of their main first-party titles has a gun in it, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? Which, to your point of like Rare could come in and give it a little different flavor, and I think they could use some variety in their messaging as far as like having some variety and showing. I mean, in my opinion, by the way, and I've shared this with Microsoft some. I mean, they really kind of during the Matrix years, they kind of like diversified their first party and weren't really like supporting the system as much because they were so successful, and they were really like Call of Duty and things like that were really supporting the Xbox 360. And I think what they need to do now is like really go back and try to make a broad portfolio for Xbox One, and like I think that's really a key to success for them. So they've been investing, trying to bring more people in, trying to go out there and get studios, even though there's not that many, but they need to win some of those battles, get some of those teams on board, and make some different games. Because I think just being the like shooter box isn't enough anymore.
Ben, what do you think what does Microsoft have to do to win E3? I mean, they have all these great games, but is that enough?
Well, I think they've got something which is underutilized, and Phil Spencer's hinted recently that they might make this E3 more about their broader platform, and that means Windows 10, and that means DirectX 12, and that means PC gaming. I mean, PC has never been in better health than it is right now, and they are converging their platforms. Right now they've got 3 distinct platforms with phone, desktop, and the console. Yeah. As they bring those together with Windows 10, it's the right time to talk about PC gaming.
There's a PC gaming press conference apparently happening as well.
There is, and that's the one brand that I don't oversee. But yes, we are holding a PC gaming press conference, so there may be more about
I agree, because I mean, PC is so big, especially with the Twitch audience and things like that, all these MOBAs. Maybe that's something that Microsoft can talk up.
They should. I mean, it's a huge part of what they have in their stable, right?
All right, well, we will find out when the Microsoft briefing kicks off E3 on Monday morning, June the 15th. It'll be at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, and of course, you can see all the coverage right here on GT. We'll be back next week with more of our E3 preview right here in the bonus round.